A while back I made an Oblivion video, and while it's mostly fine, there was a lot that was not covered as well as a few opinions I wanted to revisit. The old video is vanilla Xbox footage, and to distinguish the old from the new parts, this new video is on the PC. I have modded my PC version of Oblivion, specific changes to make the game better. First off, no one has beards in Oblivion for some reason other than Sheogorath, so I added a mod that gives some people beards, including you being able to have one. Unfortunately, the downside of it is it also came with a whole bunch of face paint and scars, and it applied these beards, face paint, and scars to everyone, which looks fine on some NPCs, but stupid on others. Next was the most important mod. This one puts level caps on NPCs and does a better job balancing levels. Unfortunately, it only half worked, as it still wasn't good, but it was better than vanilla Oblivion. Oblivion has an awful leveling system. Enemies level up with you, so they constantly get harder. Let's say you spent 3 levels leveling something like lockpick. Well, way to go, ding dong. Now all these enemies are way stronger than you. Also, if you make it past level 20, suddenly every NPC in the world has the best and most rare armor. And when everyone's super, no one is. Not to mention they become health sponges. So this mod puts a level cap on NPCs so they all start with a level and won't go past a specific one. And again, while it sorta worked, Morrowind's system of just having everyone have specific armor already in the world not only made me feel like the world was already lived in when I arrived there, but also made anyone actually wearing rare armor indicate to you that they are a badass and you shouldn't fight them unless you're a high level. Oblivion's system makes the entire world change to fit you rather than you just entering a world, and I don't like it nearly as much. So on the Xbox I played it the way Todd intended, but on the PC, hell no. I also have some armor and weapon mods, but ones I just kinda like, and a couple Lord of the Ring mods that I'm gonna try to stay away from while I'm playing Oblivion's quests, but then after it's over I'll kind of mess around with the Lord of the Ring mods. One other thing to get into is in my 40-minute Xbox video, I only did one character, and on PC I'll be doing a couple more. Not too much though, because not only is this different from Morrowind, but they also decreased the skills from 27 to 21. Oblivion is weird. For every one step forward, it takes one step back. Sure, the land is bigger, but now you can't zoom in or out on the map. Sure, we removed dice roll combat, but now we got health sponges. Sure, the graphics are improved, but now every character has a face that looks like shit. Sure, we implemented fast travel, but now we got rid of in-world ways to travel for those who prefer that. Sure, our NPCs are smarter and can walk around and do things, but they are also somehow dumber at the same time. Sure, you can buy homes. Actually, nothing negative there. That part's fucking awesome. The point is, Oblivion made a bunch of good choices and a bunch of bad choices at once. Mainly the level up system. Most of the other stuff is forgivable, but the level up system is so bad, many people don't even want to level up. So if you do play on PC, I recommend you mod it as well. Last thing before we get into it, for some reason the contrast on old Xbox footage is so fucking bright, it's obnoxious. I assume old me either turned it up for a dark dungeon, which in this game is unnecessary, or the TV I was using looked fine with how I had it, but in reality my recording was bright. I don't know, but my PC footage looks better. The Elder Scrolls 4. You know, when I first played it, I hated it, but now it's one of my favorite games ever. You see, my only reference was Morrowind, and Morrowind is a totally different game. Its world is so different than what the other Elder Scrolls games have. Basically, it's like the Australia of Tamriel. Lots of weird animals and a weird land. Like Oblivion, it's got bears and wolves and such, but Morrowind is all creatures you've never seen before. except rats, I guess. But all Elder Scrolls games are different in their own ways, and they're all, like, good in their own ways. But they're all completely different. You can definitely like one and not like the other. I think what I'm trying to say here is that I find Morrowind's land more interesting than Cyrodiil, which is fine, but that's just how Cyrodiil is, and since it's different, I'm glad it's portrayed as such. Once I played Oblivion for what it was, I fell in love. Character creation is a bit weird in this one. Something's a little bit off. You can make some very strange characters. This is Sir Ball. He's an Imperial, but I'm sure you can't tell. His backstory is he once was a testicle, but he was kicked so hard he broke free from the sack, fell to the ground, and gained sentience. Now he's just like growing. They threw him in jail as they didn't know what to do with him. When you start off the game, you get bullied by a dude in the cell across from you.
I guess they don't play favorites, huh? Your own kinsmen think you're a piece of human trash. How sad. I bet the guards give you special treatment before the end. Oh, that's right. You're going to die in here, Imperial. You're going to die.
After that, you speak to the Emperor, who's played by Patrick Stewart.
You. I've seen you. Let me see your face. You are the one from my dreams. Then the stars were right. And this is the day.
Thus begins a very long tutorial where you learn to fight, pickpocket, equip items, etc. The biggest issue I have with this is it's way too long. In Morrowind, if I want to try to make new classes and character builds, I can be out in the world in a couple of minutes. But in Oblivion, it's like an hour before I can leave the dungeon. And I honestly know that this has turned some people off from the game. One thing that's an improvement in my opinion is attacks aren't dice rolls anymore. When you make contact, it actually makes contact. The combat is nothing special, it's as basic as can be, but I like it so much better. Also, this game is fully voice acted, which I love. Morrowind felt empty at times without voices. Anyway, the Emperor is killed by the group called the Mythic Dawn. But before he gives you an amulet and tells you to find a dude named Joffrey. Old me did not talk about what a huge deal this is. This is the Emperor who has existed for all the games till this point. Only Skyrim has a different Emperor, and that's because this one's dead. Shortly after, we're finally free to leave the world. So off I go to the arena. We completely ignored this whole giving an amulet to Joffrey thing and went straight to the arena. Why? I figure the arena is a good place to start for leveling up and gaining money. Also, I recommend never doing your main quest until you're ready, because once you start it, that means Oblivion gates will open all over, and it will make doing other quests or traveling more of a pain in the butt. It will also force the agency to deal with the crisis even more, so go do everything else you want to do before giving the amulet and talking to Martin. Now is a good time to show you that Oblivion needs some work.
Farewell, my friend. May your blade always strike true. And first.
You what? You want to be a combatant? Look at you! My granny could beat you, and she's dead.
Now the arena has a cool blood-stained floors and a wonderful announcer. The fighting is a bit underwhelming as Oblivion's combat's so basic, but it's still pretty fun with a lot of imagination, and it's still pretty good. A highlight is when I fight twins, which feels unfair both to me and also to treat the twins as one person. The champion of the arena is named the Grey Prince. He thinks he might be royalty, so he sends you on a quest to find out. Well, I went on this quest, but I can't fast travel to places I haven't been yet, so Kvatch was a close place. Yeah, well, Kvatch happened to be attacked by an Oblivion gate. It's sort of like a portal to hell that has to do with the main quest. The Oblivion plane looks super cool. It's demonic and hellscapey, and you fight all kinds of demonic creatures. Unfortunately, these gates are some of the least fun parts of the game. It's really long slogs of killing and solving puzzles of where do I go, just to pull out a stone that ends it. On paper, that isn't bad, but with very little variation and doing these so much for so long, it gets really repetitive and annoying. I think a better way would to have a set number of portals, like 7 or 9, and make each one super unique rather than all feel basically the same. Because a cool atmosphere can only do so much. After closing the gate, there is still a fight to finish off what's left. The problem with Oblivion is that it's super easy to hurt your teammates, which has repercussions. So you gotta kind of fight like in the background basically. Also, for as smart as Oblivion's AI is, like they literally can have day-to-day schedules and stuff, which is really great. As smart as they are also equally as stupid. But I think that's a big part of the charm of Oblivion, is it is unintentionally very silly. So Kvatch is saved, but it is in total ruin. And we're now called the hero of Kvatch. Now what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was trying to find out if the Grey Prince is really royalty. It turns out he isn't, and not only is he not, but he finds out his father was a vampire, and this depresses him.
But Wait, can this be? But by Shinji, I'm the son of a vampire. I'm no Grey Prince. I'm the spawn of evil. I thought my father was a nobleman, not some blood-sucking monster. I can't... all a lie. A lie.
So after that, it's back to arena fights. We do a bunch of them. Some highlights include when we have to fight 3 prisoners who were promised freedom if they win, and a fight where me and a boar fight 3 people. At last, we challenge the Grey Prince.
Yes, I accept your challenge. Go speak with Isabel. Tell her you're ready. Then we'll meet in the arena. Yes, that will do.
Unfortunately, he doesn't really fight back due to his depression. I tried to yield to him, but it didn't seem to work, and I ended up having to kill him, even though I really did not want to at this point.
What are you waiting for? Do it! End my misery! Ah! Yes! Strike me down! Ah! Yes! Please, just kill me. Can't you see? It's what I want. I can't live like this, knowing I'm something filthy, something evil. Kill me. Please. Do it! And do it! End my misery!
Just witness the impossible!
It turns out if you don't do his quest, then he never knows, and he never gets all depressed, and you can actually fight him one-on-one, with him actually fighting back. So I recommend you just never do that quest. And with this, I guess I'm the Arena Grand Champion. The award for the Arena Grand Champion is to fight some beasts every week for money. Honestly, I don't like this. I'd rather have it be like a random AI to be generated to fight me each week in an attempt to take my place. The other award you get is less of a reward and more of a nightmare.
Wow, you're the Grand Champion. I saw your fight against the Grey Prince. You're the best. Can I follow you around? I won't get in the way. Golly, you're the best. I'm going to follow you and watch you and worship the ground you walk on. Let's go.
Also, because of killing the Grey Prince, a group called the Dark Brotherhood wants us to join. We'll get to them later.
Your path is clear. Send Rufio to his death, and the Dark Brotherhood will embrace you as family.
Yes, Oh, great and mighty Grand Champion? Is there something you need?
I did a haunted house quest and that gave me a home. I left my fan in there due to not wanting him around.
Hi!
So off I went to join the Mages Guild. The first step was to gain a recommendation from each mage guild in the city. Though I do love quests, I am a bit disappointed of how much I could do without magic. Sir Ball is a warrior through and through and has very little magic training, but yet he could pass all the Mages Guild quests. One thing I didn't mention is just how incompetent the Mages Guild is. I mean, in Morrowind they had a dumbass leader as well, but many of the others were fine. But in Oblivion, so many members seem really fucking dumb. And sure, there are like a couple who are good, but way too much leadership is given to stupid people who don't deserve it. This is neither a complaint nor a praise, it just is that way. During my quest for the guild, I accidentally continued the main quest by delivering the amulet to Joffrey, who told me to find someone named Martin, who's the lost long heir to the Emperor. Martin was at Kvatch, which I already saved, so I'm doing the main quest out of order. I'll go do that, but I do need to get back to the Mage Guild quests. Because if I start the main quest, then Oblivion gates will start opening, forcing me to deal with them, and I don't want to till I'm good and ready. One thing you aren't seeing is that during all this, I'm also grabbing a bunch of items from the Mages Guild and selling them for profit. Which reminds me, in Morrowind, stealing is good, and merchants will buy stolen items. In Oblivion, only a couple merchants will buy stolen items. The rest just fucking magically somehow know it's stolen, which sucks, because it makes you play so much differently. So when I'm taking from the guild, the reason it doesn't count as stealing is because I joined the guild, so that's all my stuff too, I guess. Imagine getting like a YMCA membership, then selling all the weights and basketballs. That's basically what I'm doing, but they don't get mad and they replenish over time. Morrowind is definitely better in the stealing side of things. One of the coolest quests is a man stuck in a dream world. This isn't technically needed to beat the Mages Guild quest, but it's a cool quest, so of course I did it. We have to travel into this dude's nightmares to free him. This involves a nightmareous version of the arena and solving various puzzles. If you die in the dream, you die in real life. Anyway, we pass the quests and get our recommendation. This allows us to go to Mage College and make my own mage staff. We do learn about necromancers. This means I don't get to join the other students in learning and will only be sent on quests from now on where I destroy everyone with my sword in order to level up as a mage and just remove necromancy. So yeah, necromancy is illegal, but for some reason reanimate is not, which you would think it would be. It's sort of like diet necromancy. Sure, they are only reanimated for a short time, but like, if necromancy is bad, then reanimate should be too. But it's not though, and so many members are leaving the guild to practice necromancy, and so we're killing them. Also, levitate was removed from the game for mechanic reasons, but in-game reasons, it's also illegal? Why? That doesn't even make sense. I'd rather just not have it explained than to have it explained badly. Also, look how cool this beast is. I wish the game had more monsters like that and less, deer. Anyway, so we go after necromancers with the best help possible. We find out the leader's the King of Worms and has been attacking the old Mages Guilds. So off I go to fight a bunch of skeletons that are actually too strong for me to handle. So I lure them outside where the guards intervene and I let the town guards and civilians deal with it.
That the best you can do.
Afternoon. There are rumors that the Nords are attempting to capture the whole of...
On my new playthrough, they were these wraiths instead, and holy shit, these things are scary. Not just scary looking, as I wasn't expecting to see them, but they were just scary to fight because they fuck up your stats and your encumbrance, and you can end up stuck. I ended up getting help from the guards from this time too, cause wow. So off I go to deal with the King of Worms. I get to tell some battle mages what formations to be in, which is neat, but I do wish it was even more strategic. It's fine though. So now we fight him, and here is that fight.
Instead of drawing Traven out, I have
It's incredibly easy. I don't even feel like I fought a boss. I feel like I just fought a normal one of the, necromancers. I didn't even realize what a big fight this was. Mannimarco is a big name and an important character in Daggerfall, in which he looks way cooler. They not only hyped him up as really powerful in this game, but also in other games, only for me to end him just super easily. With that, we become the Archmage of the whole damn university, which is crazy, because again, Sir Ball has almost no magical abilities, other than healing and like Fireball, but those are like the ones you start off with, dude. I also grab one of the students and take her home. You might be wondering what I'm planning, and I'll tell you. My own army. You would think, as the Archmage, the whole guild would follow me, but no, I can't command any of them, but I can have one follower from a guild, so now my army is that arena fan and this mage chick. And with that, the mage guild is done. Destruction magic is different from Morrowind. You now have to have a valid target for it to count. On top of that, the target has to be alive. I honestly like the Morrowind system even better. Even the failed spell chance I like, and I'm one who's against dice roll attacks for combat. I honestly like Morrowind's system better. I will say, what Oblivion has going for it are two things. First, a dedicated magic button so you don't have to switch from combat style to magic style. You can just use it. And second is hotkeys. You can hotkey spells to switch to quickly without having to go through a menu, so that's nice. I played a thief character, a magic character, and a warrior character to see which I like best, and I will say magic seemed more useful than thief, but less than warrior. Using magic staffs was also cool if you're low on magic, because they don't work as just blunt weapons in this game. Now they have a magical power associated with them, and you can use them whether you are skilled in that kind of magic or not. But conjuration is lamer. You can only conjure one creature at a time rather than being able to conjure an army. That's a lot less cool. Also, teleportation spells are gone due to fast travel, and levitate spells gone, and I just don't feel as crazy magical and powerful as I did in Morrowind. There is a really cool mage castle though, with places to enchant and create spells, and upstairs with tons of alchemy ingredients, and a basement vault for your items guarded by an army of imps, so that's pretty cool. On to the best quests of the game, the Dark Brotherhood. First we kill the guy Lucian told us to, Lucian being the Dark Brotherhood member we met earlier. And with that, we have joined the guild and can meet the team. They live in an abandoned house.
Greetings. I am Oshiva, mistress of this sanctuary. Lucian has told me all about you. I welcome you to the Dark Brotherhood.
I wish to welcome you to this sanctuary.
I've heard so much about
my
you.
newest brother.
Welcome.
Oh, I'll see.
But why, sister? What's the point? Why should anyone bother with all that sneaking and skulking?
My dear Gogren, you are a life-taker for the Dark Brotherhood. Our very existence relies on shadow and deception. Do you not value our secrets?
Yes, of course I value our secrets, and I've never betrayed them. But using stealth to kill, it's just so weak.
But brother, what of the contracts that require subtlety? You must at least strive to earn the bonuses that are offered.
Bonuses? Useless, I say. Gold and magical trinkets are no substitute for the freedom to slaughter anyone I please, at any time.
Oh, Gogren, your methods may be crude, but your heart is always in the right place.
There you are.
It is an honor
Welcome.
to make your warm...
Each quest we have a target to kill and can do it in any way. But if we can do it in certain ways, we get a bonus. A lot like Hitman games. So you know I fucking love that, because I love the Hitman games. I'll always go for the bonuses, and if I mess up, I don't reload. I still go for the gold, just like how I play it in Hitman. These are the best levels. Here are some highlights. I was hired to loosen a decorative head, so it would fall on a man named Balaam, and he would die and it would look like an accident. But I also needed to avoid being seen by his servant. I fucking tried, but this is how it went.
The master doesn't like visitors.
Stay away!
This is the part where you fall down.
That's cause you gotta use the back door, you fucking barbarian. Did younger version of me even talk to the other members to get advice? And unlike last time, I got the bonus every time. And while some are kinda most of them are totally worth it. Next, we snuck into a prison to kill that one dude who was rude to us at the beginning of the game. You get a bonus if you kill no guards, which I didn't.
Wait, I know you. You're the one. That day the Emperor was killed. They went through your cell. You lucky bastard. Come on, you've got to help me. Let old Valen out of this cell. You've got your free... What? You filth...
Then there's one where we got paid to fake a death.
What's this? Oh, Dark Brotherhood assassin, please don't cut me with that.
Then my favorite one, a bunch of guests in a house looking for treasure. I needed to kill all of them and to do it without anyone knowing it was me for a bonus.
Two people are now dead. And for what? A trunk full of coins? How pathetic. The poor girl. She's too young, too innocent to be exposed to the... The old woman is dead. Murdered. Oh! 3 people now dead, and yet the 2 of us still live. Do you think I'm the
Being killed off one by one.
Know what I think? I think that barbarian will do anything to get his hands on the chest of gold. Is kind of greedy and vicious, all of them. Trust me, I know. I was stationed at Fort Frostmoth for a few years on the Isle of Solstheim. Those Nords are a bunch of animal-worshipping savages. They're all the same, full of meat and something to prove.
I actually ended up speed running it this time, so here's that, and good luck beating my time.
The 6th guest. Now. All right, then.
Here we all are. Certainly is a nice house. So, no... This house is a death trap.
Lucian wants to give us quests now personally, so he drops dead drops for us. At one point, he dead drops we need to kill our whole Dark Brotherhood team. So we do.
Night Mother, I beg.
Night Mother, I beg your mercy.
Why, brother, why?
It becomes revealed to us that it isn't Lucian sending these quests, but instead we have a traitor. Of course, no one believes Lucian, though. I leave to find proof to find the traitor's house filled with bodies and a bizarre journal, which reveals that as a boy he saw Lucian kill his mother, so he grew up and joined the Dark Brotherhood to one day get revenge. And revenge he got. His journal is also written as if he's gone crazy, but it does have proof Lucian didn't do it. So I go to tell them that, but I'm too late. They killed and tortured Lucian. We go to the Night Mother, which is who the Dark Brotherhood worship, and during this, the traitor reveals himself. So I kill him. But now, I'm the only one in a leadership role. So now I'm in charge of the Dark Brotherhood, and I can slowly rebuild it. Of course, I'm not allowed to really, command them much. I can tell them where to focus their efforts, I guess. But I take one of them and place them in my home, and that was the Dark Brotherhood quest. Okay, let's talk about a couple more things. First off, wearing Dark Brotherhood clothes really emphasizes your ass. It just hugs them cheeks tighter than anything else in the game. Also, poison apples seem fucking useless. I can never get anyone to eat them. Another thing I don't think I mentioned is that a lot of those people you killed from the dead drops were important Dark Brotherhood members, including the listener, who, even if you aren't doing the Dark Brotherhood quest, you can see him talking to the statue where the Night Mother speaks, and that's pretty cool. Also, after you're the listener of the Dark Brotherhood, you can recruit members who the Night Mother tells you to, and eventually get a group again, although they don't nearly have the personality of the original. You can also use that as your home, but I prefer Deep Scorn Hollow for this, because you get a minion who you can command to go murder, you get a human to feast on if you're a vampire, which I don't like being a vampire in Oblivion, but if you are one, you can. Your own underground tiny castle, and a coffin to sleep in, plus there's a fucking shrine. Being in the Dark Brotherhood also gives you Shadowmare, the best horse to ever horse. Now I really haven't talked about the Night Mother or Sithis, so I'll turn that over to Gage.
So, you're living in Tamriel during the Third Era and you've decided that someone has to go. Why do it yourself when you can hire a professional? The first step to hiring the Dark Brotherhood is to talk to their leader, but there's a catch. The Dark Brotherhood is led by the Night Mother, a literal ghost who's been leading the group for centuries. There are a lot of lore books throughout the Elder Scrolls games that offer speculation regarding the history of Sithis and the Night Mother, but the important takeaways are that all Dark Brotherhood contracts begin with potential employers performing the Black Sacrament, a ritual which involves building an effigy of the intended victim using actual corpses and stabbing it repeatedly while reciting a prayer to the Night Mother. The Night Mother passes this information to her second-in-command, the Listener, passes it down to their direct subordinate, a Speaker, who meets with the prospective client to arrange the assassination. Thus, if the Night Mother was somehow destroyed, the Dark Brotherhood chain of command would be irreparably broken. As a side note, the Dark Brotherhood functionally doubles as a death cult for their primary deity Sithis. Simply put, Sithis is a complicated god who predates the Daedra and the Divines. He is less involved with leading the Dark Brotherhood than the Night Mother is, but he is thought to enforce the 5 tenets that Brotherhood assassins are required to follow. Failure to do so will result in the rule breaker being attacked by a wraith known as the Wrath of Sithis. A shrine of Sithis can be found in Deep Scorn Hollow, and is the only shrine in the game that confers a blessing that scales with the player character's infamy rather than their fame. As of the Elder Scrolls IV, the Wrath of Sithis and the shrine in Deep Scorn Hollow are the only first-hand interactions the player can have with Sithis.
One last thing I want to bring up before we move on and I forget. Way too often on Oblivion will it say you can't wait because there's enemies nearby and you can't even fucking find them all the time. Where are they? Where are these enemies that are nearby? I looked for quite a while one time only to find out it was a fish that was spawned upon the land for some reason, and that's fucking stupid. So next I went to the Thieves Guild but didn't finish it. The stuff I was stealing was worthless to me in terms of money that I currently had. I should have joined earlier in the game, it would have been more worthwhile. Instead I decided not to push through it on something I didn't want to do as this video is already long enough. Nah, this time I actually did do the Thieves Guild. So things in this game are different. Sneaking and pickpocketing actually work, so that's nice and handy. On top of that, the eyeball now gives very accurate detection of if you've been seen or not, and all this makes for better stealthing around. That being said, lockpicking has been changed to where it freezes time, and now you play this mini game. And sure, you can still hit this auto thing, but it still freezes time, which takes away the tension of having to lockpick. And I do think Morrowind did it better. That, and I'm just not a big fan of the mini game. Better ways to do this would be A, still have the dice roll chance that Morrowind had, or B, make there be a meter you have to fill to unlock the door. The lower your skill, the longer the meter takes, making it more likely you could get caught, but the higher, the faster you can get in. Something like that. Starting the Thieves Guild, we have to go steal a specific item. There are 2 others competing to also get in, and it doesn't matter if they win because you will get another chance. But if you win, they both also end up in the Thieves Guild eventually as well. In fact, the girl might already be in because she knows the process and gives you orders later, but I'm not positive. And the Argonian becomes an independent thief after not being let in, but we tell him he can't be an independent thief and he has to join us. Why didn't we just let him join us? Also, he ends up in the dungeon of a racist woman who tortures Argonians to death. So of course he was coming with us. One thing I like about this version of the Thieves Guild is how secretive they are, where you can only meet them at specific times and such. Beggars are a very important part of the Thieves Guild, as giving them money leads them to telling you helpful information. Outside of missions given to you, you also have to do your own stealing, up to 1,000 gold. Now you get provided different fences you can sell to, and unlike Morrowind, if you steal something, somehow everyone magically knows it's a stolen item, which doesn't fucking make a lot of sense, especially if I try to sell it in a totally different city. I guess they were making sure you actually stole items, but I definitely like Morrowind's system so much better. Like, unless you're selling to the person you stole the thing from, they're probably not going to know that you stole it, you know? No need for fences. And Morrowind just has a better economy. You could earn far more gold stealing stuff there than you could in Oblivion. That said, one thing Oblivion has over Morrowind is people actually move around, which gives stealing more tension rather than them just standing in one spot. Anyway, we get accepted into the Thieves Guild and get mission by mission on what to steal. We are a very Robin Hood type group. Morrowind had this with Gentleman Jim Stacy, but this was like a tiny part. This Thieves Guild is very like, we don't hurt anybody, must never hurt anybody. We only steal from rich people or guards, and we give it back to the poor. We also have a guard captain named Hieronymus Rex, who is always after us.
Any sign of Armand Christoph? Nothing so far. No sign of Armand Christoph, sir. No sign of him. Have you seen Armand Christoph? Can you tell me where Armand Christoph is hiding? What do you want? Can't you see I'm in the middle of an investigation?
And we eventually get him posted in a different city so he'll stop bothering us. The Thieves Guild also doesn't kill people. If you do, you can get in trouble for it or kicked out. Unless the Grey Fox says it's cool, then suddenly it's fine. The Grey Fox is a famous bandit with posters everywhere. He's who gives us our last batch of missions and who leads the Thieves Guild.
Capital.
Now with this character, I also went with archery, which I found kind of useful, but it wasn't doing enough damage to make me want to do a pure archery build again. That said, I did get an interesting bonus. My acrobatics level allowed me to do these rolls, and my archery let me zoom in with my eyeballs, I guess. This character also was high in stealth, and I ended up getting this sick outfit that gave me a constant 15% chameleon ability, which I think in Deep Shadows I truly was basically invisible. The Grey Fox ends up having us do something crazy. Steal a Elder Scroll. Now, the title of the game's being Elder Scrolls, I figure we should know some lore about them, so I'm passing that off to Lore Master Gage.
Most of our knowledge about Elder Scrolls comes from first-hand interaction and from a moth priest named Dexian Evicus in Skyrim's Dawnguard expansion. Elder Scrolls are housed in the White Gold Tower, and are handled only by moth priests who read them to divine past and future events and advise the Emperor. This remains true until around 4th Era 175, when the scrolls vanish from the tower. Repeated or unprepared reading causes eventual blindness in the reader. Moth priests are called such due to an inexplicable connection between ancestor moths and the ability to safely read Elder Scrolls. Dexian claims none of the moth priests know where the scrolls came from or who wrote them. In the epilogue for the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, the now-dead Martin Septimus narrates that the player character will be the scribe for the next Elder Scroll. In the Dawnguard DLC for Skyrim, we can meet a snow elf vampire named Verther who created the prophecy depicted in 2 scrolls, but he doesn't explicitly state that he created the scrolls themselves. At least some scrolls have the ability to alter time or reality, and ancient Nords rebelling against Alduin used a scroll that sent him forward in time in a failed attempt to kill him. The last Dragonborn uses the same scroll to travel back in time to this event to learn a shout from the rebel Nords.
So this Elder Scroll is within the Imperial City, apparently. In a very hidden section is a library with monks who have gone blind from reading and studying the scrolls. It is here you deceive them by pretending to be someone you aren't to get the scroll and then escape. It turns out not only was the Grey Fox not the first Grey Fox, but he was able to use the Elder Scroll to reverse a curse given to him by Nocturnal. The curse had him erased from history. But now that he was able to use it to change a couple things in history, not only is he back, but he's no longer the Grey Fox, and it turns out we are. And we don't have this curse he had, and everyone remembers us being the Grey Fox. Except the posters. No matter what, the posters are clearly a white man Grey Fox and not a Khajiit. Being the new Grey Fox gives us the ability to use Batman detective vision to see people through walls. It also gives us bonuses to feather and sneak. But greatest of all, if we take off the mask, they immediately recognize us as a different person. Crimes committed by the Grey Fox are only committed by the Grey Fox, and your crimes are your crimes. It's your alter ego, and it's really cool.
What's going on? What do you need? Farewell, citizen.
They will still come after you if they can talk to you, though, so don't talk to guards as the Grey Fox if you've committed a crime. Becoming the Grey Fox also gives you a tiny Thieves Guild hideout, but I did the Dunbarrow DLC, which gives me an old hidden buried pirate ship, a pirate team, trainers, fences, and I can send my team to go on a week-long quest to bring me money. So honestly, that was my Thieves Guild base, and it's a perfect one for a thief. I have some other things I have here that aren't necessarily Thieves Guild related, but things I wanted to bring up. Sneak attacks do bonus amounts of damage. Arrows do up to 3 and melee do up to 6. And characters are so much more advanced than they were in Morrowind. Not only do they have those schedules and stuff, but they can do basic things now, like eat and read. I also noticed, though, that this game, while being voice acted, there's way too many times where a character would change their voice, and that wasn't very good.
I'll take that, and thank you very much. Okay, I'll show you. But only because you are my dear friend.
Also, while the game is beautiful, I kept noticing identical textures when far away, and other weird things like not 3D grass blowing in 2 different directions in the wind. It's little nitpicks, but it's a stain on an overall beautiful world. So we joined the Fighters Guild, and here's the highlights there. This dude, Maglier, isn't doing his job because he doesn't want to die. So we go and do it for him. Then we got guild members mad that they don't have any jobs, and some place called the Blackwood Company's taking them all. So we go find them jobs. I also get the feeling the guards don't like me.
Why do you bother me? Go away! So tiresome.
Then we find out not only did Maglier not do his job again, but he's working for Blackwood now. I then got sidetracked dealing with gods and ending up in cool places. And then I went back to the quests. We infiltrate the Blackwood Company and they force us to drink something before our mission. We go on a goblin killing mission, but the goblins aren't violent. When we wake, the Fighters Guild informs us that what we drank drugged us and we actually killed people. We go to the town and see it's indeed true. So it's time to end the Blackwood Company. You would think legally, but nope. It's by me destroying the whole company and destroying their drug drink, then burning the place down. And with that, I'm the leader of the Fighters Guild. Sadly, they don't give me a follower, but I did find an orc to be my follower anyway. So as leader of the Fighters Guild, sadly I can't do anything. I do get money at the end of every month though. Not a lot I wanted to add here, just a couple comments. It is a bummer that the training dummies don't actually count towards anything with you training on them. I wish it at least counted a little bit, even if it wasn't as much as actual fighting. Also, at one point towards the end, we help out some orcs, and I just want to say it's cool what Bethesda did with orcs. Don't get me wrong, I love a Lord of the Rings type orc, but this is a different fantasy world, and it's nice to see the change of orcs being far more civilized and intelligent. They didn't start off that way, though. Arena had them as just random encounter monsters. I also want to bitch about the speed you have to follow characters at, specifically this one. Why no run? Why this very slow, long, boring walk? I hate following characters if they act like this. Speaking of that guy, he actually gives you the Helm of Orin Bearclaw. In Morrowind, to get that ugly-ass, overpowered helmet, we had to end a family lineage. Turns out it wasn't ended, and some stranger from Morrowind gave him the helmet and told him that he was the real last of the lineage. Was the stranger the Neverine? I'd like to think so. The helmet is nowhere near as powerful in this game, though, because thank God I didn't want to wear it. So this is something I didn't talk about. This is one of the 2 big DLC expansions to Oblivion. There were smaller ones like horse armor and such, but story-wise, this is one of the 2 big ones. It starts off with a temple that has been attacked. After talking to a man everyone assumes is crazy, it turns out he isn't. Well, I mean, he kinda is. It just happens to be correct. He happens to have all his prophecies and stuff be true, but that doesn't mean he doesn't act like a loon. Anyway, he tells us about a villain named Umriel who has returned. He was defeated long ago, but his spirit survived and is finally strong enough to come back. And now we can become a champion if we are worthy and take out Umriel. To test our worthiness, we need to go on a pilgrimage. This pilgrimage leads us to shrine after shrine of the 9 Divine. And while this would be cool, it's just you running across the map and finding these shrines with nothing else happening. You don't really learn about the gods or anything like that. The pilgrimage feels really empty compared to, let's say, Morrowind's Tribunal pilgrimage. Once you finish, your infamy drops to 0, and you will need to keep your infamy very low in order to wear this special armor. And I really like this. It feels very like King Arthur-esque to me. We then go visit the original Knights of the Nine home, in which the spirits fight us. All of them fight us, and we have to beat every single one of them to see if we are worthy. And then after beating them all, they're like, okay, you are, so go get all the knight relics, which will be your, like, armor. You also get their base of operations. So we go after each relic, which usually involves a dungeon or quest of some kind, with, in the end, giving us a piece of armor or a weapon for it, and most of them are actually pretty interesting.
Aelids were the Heartland High Elves who ruled Cyrodiil from at least the Merithic era until Saint Alessia led a successful slave rebellion that overthrew them and founded the First Cyrodiilic Empire in the First Era. The Aelids built the Imperial City, including White Gold Tower, as well as numerous underground cities that can still be found across Cyrodiil in the Third Era. Alessia also founded the Imperial Cult as we know it today, combining Elven and Nordic pantheons to unite her multicultural and multi-ethnic empire under one faith. She also entered into a divine pact with Akatosh, the god of time, which resulted in the creation of the Amulet of Kings. At least one Aelid king managed to survive the slave rebellion by becoming a Daedra. Umriel the Unfeathered was assumed to have been killed by Pelennor Whitestrake, the original Divine Crusader, who had aided Alessia in the overthrow of the Aelids. Meridia, the Daedric Prince of Light and Life, claimed Umriel's soul for her realm of Oblivion, where she turned him into a Daedra. Umriel returns to Tamriel near the end of the Third Era during the Oblivion Crisis, with a small army of Meridia's Auroran Daedra in an attempt to take revenge on Alessia and Pelennor Whitestrake by destroying the gods of the Imperial Cult.
Along the way, we meet guys who end up wanting to be our followers. It could be priests who have been hypocrites and want to be better, or just men who want to be knights and follow you. It's really cool. Again, this kind of gives me the Knights of the Round Table vibes, and I'm digging it. Plus, it's fun doing a good playthrough too. I haven't roleplayed being a good person since I was a Christian. After that, the prophet shows up to our chapel to pray with our knights before the big battle, and bestow one thing the previous knights didn't have: the blessing of Talos. As there was only 8 divines, now there is 9, so we think we can truly destroy Umarol now. The full knight fit is very Crusader looking, and I honestly really like it. I think it's the coolest armor in Oblivion. On top of that, I didn't realize until after my playthrough, if you take the armor off, put it on a stand back at your base, the armor will level up with you to whatever yours is and become stronger, which essentially makes it not just the best looking armor in the game, but also the most useful. For the most part, getting followers was useless, as they seemed to bug up a lot and it would be hard for me to get them to follow me inside. But once the final battle came, oh damn was that cool. The knights all go charging in with you and fight through the dungeon with you, and do it actually semi-competently. It's honestly great, and I wish I got to do more quests with my whole ass army. We then fight Umarol, and he isn't too hard, and we end up killing him. But we need to destroy his spirit, so that he won't return again. So we used the Talos blessing to go out and fight him, which if you needed proof Talos was a divine, you have it now, as this blessing works and allows us to kill Umarol's spirit. He ends up being pretty damn easy, but with that our quest is complete. It started off weak for me, but it ended with me really enjoying this whole thing, and being these good knights fighting for the people. I really like this sort of thing. I honestly wish it continued longer. It was very cool. Oblivion has a ton of good side quests as well, but if you're trying to earn some money, there's a man named Umbracano who will pay you 500 gold per alien statue, and 5,000 gold once you have them all. On top of that, you collect everything from these dungeons, and you get XP, so it's a win-win if you're broke and need cash. And on top of that, he has another set of quests you can unlock where you'll have to get other artifacts for him, but at the same time someone else is trying to get them, and they'll try to steal it by force after you come out with that artifact. Basically exactly like that scene from Indiana Jones. Also, almost every Daedra has a shrine in Oblivion, and by presenting an offering of whatever it is the Daedra wants, they will give you quests. And these quests are so fucking worth it. You get some of the best gear you can get in-game by doing Daedric quests. There's even this one where you have to fight in a tournament in the Plane of Oblivion to win an amazing sword, but on top of that, the gear you get here is just absolutely incredible, and I came out way stronger than before. For sure, do these quests. The side quests of Oblivion are just really worth it. Also, most of the voices work, but this Hermaeus Mora voice in Oblivion, I hate it. It doesn't sound at all like how I would picture him. The Skyrim voice is way better.
I give you a spell to trap these souls. Return to me when you have finished.
So I get to Martin, and he gives a speech to the Blades. He's voiced by Sean Bean, by the way. This game just has an awesome voice cast.
Hail, Dragonborn! Hail, Martin Septim! Hail!
Your Highness, the Blades are at your command. You will be safe here until you can take up your throne.
Joffrey, all of you, I know you all expect me to be Emperor. I'll do my best, but this is all new to me. I'm not used to giving speeches, but I wanted you to know that I appreciate your welcome here. I hope I prove myself worthy of your loyalty in the coming days. That's it. Thank you.
We also learn about our main villains, Mankar Cameron and Marus Dagon. Mankar Cameron talks to his followers, and we infiltrate that shit and kill them when he leaves. We have to get a bunch of items for Martin, so we do. We also have to get every city to get help for this fight. You see, we're planning on opening a giant Oblivion gate at Bruma, so we have to go to each one of the cities to get help so that we can get a whole bunch of men for this. But at each one of the cities, they have their own Oblivion gate. So you have to go in, destroy the Oblivion gate, and then they will help. Rinse and repeat multiple times. For every fucking city, you have to do the exact same thing. And each Oblivion gate's like a half hour each. Honestly, it wastes like 3 to 4 fucking hours of your time doing the exact same thing. It's kind of ridiculous. But now we're gonna open a huge gate in Bruma, and we have the help from all around Tamriel. The thing I hate most about Oblivion is the leveling up. Not that leveling up is bad, it definitely isn't, but characters level up while you level up. And again, I'm not saying that's bad, but here's the thing, bandits who used to be just bandits are all now wearing like the rarest armor. Everyone's got the best stuff. Some of the weaker animals and NPCs and stuff, they just go away and get replaced with stronger ones, making your level up feel almost worthless. As if the world just like changes based on how strong you are, which feels weird. The world should just be a stagnant thing. Like maybe when you're lower, there could still be monsters you can't beat yet. So you gotta like get tough enough, you know? But no, it just changes based on that. So there's so many people wearing glass armor and Daedric armor and such towards the end of the game, and that's just obnoxious. And the other thing is, like, I don't see a lot of other adventurers going around the towns and stuff. It'd be good if there was other adventurers, if I wasn't the only adventurer, you know? Anyway, we now gather for an epic battle, and even though the game is limited, it's still epic to me.
Soldiers of Cyrodiil, the Empire will stand or fall by what we do here today. Will we let the Daedra do to Bruma what they did to Kavach? Will we let them burn our homes? Will we let them kill our families? No, we make our stand here today for the whole of Cyrodiil. We must hold fast until the hero of Kavach can destroy their great gate. We must kill whatever comes out of that gate. Soldiers of Cyrodiil, do you stand with me?
Look out!
Now we also go into Mankar Cameron's paradise, a world created for his followers where they would never die. What he didn't tell them though is there was Daedra that would be there, and they'd be torturing them, and they'd be there forever with no escape, making the paradise effectively not a paradise. And this is kind of awesome. Anyway, we meet a guy, and well, I'll just show you.
They have tricked you. Why do you think your world has always been contested ground, the arena of powers and immortals? It is Tamriel.
You wear the bands, but you're no prisoner. Can you really do it? Can you bring this eternal nightmare to an end?
Whose heart came to Tamriel. But if a god can die, how does his heart survive? He is Daedra. Tamriel I Daedra. This heart is the heart of the world, for one was made to satisfy the other. You all remember this. It is in every legend.
quickly. Nothing escapes your vigilance, Kinreeve. Cathatet wondered as well. This is why he sent him for questioning.
Well, carry on.
Of course, Kinreeve. Prisoner, get in the cage. Prisoner, get in the cage. Prisoner, get in the cage. There's no way for me to cross.
Did I mention main car Cameron was played by Terrence Stamp? Again, a fantastic cast.
Weakness will be purged from the world, and mortal.
Nothing can stop Lord Dagon.
Oh, Tamriel still has some fight left in her.
You cannot stop Lord Dagon!
Worthy foe thrust.
So we kill him and return to Tamriel. Martin is an emperor and looks a lot like his father. But then Dagon is here. Dagon is a big devil with 4 arms attacking the capital. We lead Martin to a place where he can use the Amulet of Kings from the beginning. And kaboom, it turns him into a dragon. He fights Dagon, and they both die, leaving the world again at peace, but with no emperor. It's a pretty dope-ass story. Honestly, dope-ass stories is where Oblivion shines. Yeah, some of them definitely need work, but it has more dope-ass stories than I feel like most of the other games. Or at least it's more theatrical in the way it shows. It's definitely way more exciting than Skyrim or Morrowind. Anyway, with that out of the way, me and all my followers are ready to cause havoc to end this video. Here it is, some of that.
I am yours to command, O great listener.
It's gonna be good!
Stop! Then pay.
I'm just warming up, you pathetic.
What's going on?
Stop! By the 9 Divines! Assault! Assault! God, there's a psychopath on the loose! You let the 9 Divines!
Peacefully! Can't you settle this peacefully?
Hey, come on now! There's no need to get violent.
What's going on?
This ends here! Die, damn you! Ah! Striker!
Thank you for all your help. Stop talking.
By the gods! You know what you're doing!
Oh. Hello.
Fight! 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 You need to get fight. It's all over, lawbreaker. Your
So just a couple things I want to add. The skyboxes as you approach an Oblivion gate are so good, slowly turning apocalyptic, and it's just really awesome. As you gain more men from closing Oblivion gates, you will see more guards from different cities start camping in Bruma for the big battle, and I feel like that's also very cool. I also feel like we didn't talk enough about the ending, specifically what this whole Amulet of Kings thing means, so...
Mehrunes Dagon is the Daedric Prince of Destruction, Revolution, and Ambition, with particular emphasis on destruction. Natural disasters are a good example of this feisty boy's bread and jam. Like all Daedric princes, Mehrunes Dagon is a god who did not participate in creating the mortal world, and presides over lesser Daedra in his own realm of Oblivion, Dagon's realm being the Deadlands. In his role as the primary antagonist of the Elder Scrolls IV, he is currently waging a war of conquest against the mortal world, using his cultists to assassinate the Imperial royal family and open gates to the Deadlands from which his Daedric armies can invade Tamriel. This is not the first time he has attempted some form of invasion into Mundus. He is also the primary antagonist of the Elder Scrolls Battlespire, and in Mournhold, a statue can be seen of the Chimer goddess Almalexia fighting him in commemoration of an ancient battle between them. His current invasion, which will later become known as the Oblivion Crisis, is made possible due to his followers' almost complete assassination of the Septim royal family, and subsequent acquisition of the plot's central MacGuffin, the Amulet of Kings. The amulet was created in the First Era by Akatosh, the god of time, and Saint Alessia, who overthrew the Aelids and established both the First Cyrodiilic Empire and the pantheon of the Imperial Cult. The amulet served as a promise from Akatosh of protection against the Daedric princes. It could only be worn by Dragonborn, a special blessing of Akatosh, who is also the father of dragons, and who presumably bestowed this blessing on all emperors until now, but could be used to light the dragon fires in the Temple of the One. As long as the dragon fires were lit, Akatosh could prevent Daedric princes of Oblivion from invading Tamriel. Without a dragonborn emperor on the throne, and with the Amulet of Kings stolen, Mehrunes Dagon is able to overcome this obstacle. You don't get to call yourself the Prince of Destruction and not be a feisty boy. Mehrunes Dagon is in fact not pretty chill once you get to know him.
Chose Battlehorn for my main character, as it's a castle you could be lord over and have your own men. It comes with your own blacksmith, your own maid, a taxidermist, a cook, a sparring partner, tons of beds and barracks for your army, a secret room for storage, and best of all, you can have a totally cool statue of King K. Rool from Donkey Kong. I also ended up with a sword called Blue Flame. It's not an in-game sword. I'm pretty sure this is a modded sword. I don't remember picking it up, and I don't remember where I got it. I just looked in my inventory late in the game and saw I had it. So I can't tell you exactly how to get this. But Blue Flame I feel like is Oblivion's version of True Flame, and I really like it. What's this? A DLC is installed and a portal has opened up to a new land? How bizarre. This is the Shivering Isles DLC, the second of those big DLCs I was talking about. The portal leads us to the Shivering Isles, which is the Daedric Prince of Madness's realm of Oblivion. Each Daedra has their own realm. The hellish realms we've been seeing before were Marus Dagon's realms, but Sheogorath's realm is far different. It's a lot more fantastical and zany. In many ways, it's similar to Alice's Wonderland, but obviously with its own distinct differences. Entering, you meet Haskell, Sheogorath's butler, who informs you Sheogorath has opened a portal so that those who wish to try to become his champion may enter. He's not violating any rules as he isn't invading, he's just opening a portal so you can come to his land, which is permitted. Your next step is to defeat the giant doorkeeper. Now I've already played this before, so I knew that you had to do a special quest to get a special bow to shoot him with it. But the gatekeeper fucking hit me hard from behind, and I fought back, and it turns out if you're just a high enough level, you can just beat him in a fight. No need for the bow, so that was pretty cool. And with that, you can enter one of two doors, Mania or Dementia. Mania is a much brighter land, and it's very pretty. Dementia is a darker land and more eerie. Which you choose here does not really seem to matter, as you will visit both, but eventually your choices of whose side you are on will matter. The Shivering Isles is basically divided in two sections, with the Duke of Mania ruling one and the Duchess of Dementia ruling another, and Sheogorath just like right in the middle. You have to talk to him, and he wants to test you to see if you can be his champion. He also gives you the ability to summon Haskell at any time within the Isles to ask him questions on whatever task you have at hand. You will first need to get to know both sides better. It turns out the Duke of Mania and the Duchess of Dementia have a thing for each other, but it's not looked on well by their people, as they're in constant competition. The Duke has an addiction problem and wants us to get him a cure. To do so, we must become addicted to Feldu, and we have to cure ourselves as well. The Duchess believes that she has people that want to betray her for the love of the Duke. So we go around torturing people to find out if they do want to betray her, and she happens to be right, and then she executes the traitor.
You've confessed to attempting to kill me, I understand. The penalty for this treachery is death, and is to be carried out immediately.
Throughout the Shivering Isles, there are tons of quests, and while some can be summed up as just a normal dungeon crawl but with grosser enemies, others can be quite unique and interesting. Like this one, where you watch adventurers go through a dungeon, and you get to pick the traps to kill them, or scare them, and I really like this. Shivering Isles has many unique enemies. Some are returning ones from like Morrowind, like this gross hunger who licks you. It also has a lot of cool areas and really nice outfits that I appreciate. I dig the looks here more than the usual Oblivion looks, I would say. The weapons and armor you can get here are also pretty rad, and the cities aren't boring either. There's a lot of unique things about both of them. One of my favorite places is the Museum of Oddities, where the owner can actually give you a tour. It's a very small tour, but it's still very cool. No matter what though, you will need to choose a side. Team Mania or Team Dementia. And I'm really kind of impartial here, but I like the outfits of Dementia better, and the Mazkin are just cooler to me, I guess, than the Golden Saints. Which is another cool thing I didn't mention. The Mazkin and the Golden Saints, these guards are all badass women. And there are male warriors here, but they're weaker and more pathetic. So, I don't know, that's just cool. So yeah, I ended up choosing to aid Dementia a lot, but then Sheogorath has me pick something. I'm to replace one of them, either the Duke or the Duchess. And I chose the Duchess, just because I think her area looks cooler to me. So if I was gonna, rule one, I want the cooler looking one. So I kill the Duchess and I become the new ruler of Dementia. But the Duke objects, because obviously he would. I just killed his lover, and not really for a reason, just because Sheogorath said so that something would be different this time. So the Duke also leaves, and he plans to fight against Sheogorath as well. Now, why is Sheogorath needing a champion? Well, at the end of an era, a powerful god named Jiggalad comes and destroys Sheogorath's realm to be rebuilt again, and all his Knights of Order run amok. It happens the same way over and over again. So Sheogorath is trying to do anything that will make things different in hopes he can defeat Jiggalad. Which is why he needs a new champion, because he won't be here when Jiggalad shows up. And why not? Because it turns out he sorta is Jiggalad. Here, let me have Gage give you some lore. Shivering Isles has a lot of interesting side quests, including this man who's super depressed, and he wants us to kill him, and it's pretty, oof. The only other one that I felt like it was hard for me to kill was the Grey Prince, but this guy was also very difficult for me to kill.
Well, it's too painful. Everywhere I look, I see death, dying and decay. When I dream, I see a world without sunshine. A bad day? A bad day? Try a miserable existence! There's no point in talking about it. Action must be taken. You must. I need you to kill me. But I hope that someday, maybe, a big gust of wind will come and push me off, so I can end it all. What?
I will say, even with the patches I added, both for regular Oblivion and for Shivering Isles, the game was still quite buggy, and those patches fixed a lot, so what in the goddamn. We also meet a woman who enjoys torturing people.
Does this hurt more or less than last time? Very interesting.
And I will do my best to not imagine her as a hot dominatrix, and I will instead just ask her to help us build a gatekeeper, which we actually get to do. And we get to choose the parts for too, so that's really cool. And then we get Sheogorath's staff, and we fucking lead a battle against him and his Knights of Order and the Duke. At last we reach him, and we defeat him, sadly a bit too easily.
You hold the staff, but you are no Daedric prince. This ends as it always does. Order shall reign. Enough! I am beaten. The Grey March is ended. For millennia, this drama has unfolded, and each time, I have conquered this land, only to be transformed back into that gibbering fool, Sheogorath. It was not always so. Once I ruled this realm, a world of perfect order. My dominion expanded across the seas of Oblivion with each passing era. The other princes, fearful of my power, cursed me with madness, doomed me to live as Sheogorath,
a broken soul reigning in a broken land. Once each era, I was allowed my true form, conquering this world anew. And each time I did, the curse was renewed, damning me to exist as Sheogorath. Now, though, you have ended the cycle. You now hold the mantle of madness, and Jigalag is free to roam the voids of Oblivion once more. I will take my leave, and you will remain here, mortal. Mortal, king, god. It seems uncertain. This realm is yours. Perhaps you will grow to your station. Fare thee well, Sheogorath, Prince of Madness.
So it ends with Sheogorath permanently becoming Jigalag and us becoming Sheogorath, which is honestly interesting. This whole thing is interesting. Sheogorath is interesting. Haskell is interesting. This is just a good DLC. Nothing really changes that much as us being Sheogorath. We can sometimes be called to help fight. We rule over mania and dementia, and we can also request someone to dance very poorly for us. So that's neat. That's all very cool. I really enjoyed it. Before I absolutely end the video, I do want to show one last thing though. I added a couple of Lord of the Rings mods, mainly ones that just give you outfits and such, as well as a dungeon to fight Sauron for his armor. It also had rideable wargs, and this is what I try to practice every day with Barry, but he seems to lack the motivation to make it work. Anyway, playing as Sauron was really kinda cool. I didn't do a playthrough with him, I just took my character with the best blunt and I went around killing for fun way after I finished the quest. Some of it looked pretty dumb. Sometimes I really liked it, sometimes it did look good, so here's that. And with that, I'm heading out. Make sure you subscribe if you like this video.
Yeah! How can I... Yeah! Stop! You violated the law. Yeah!
It's a pleasure to meet you. I am Countess Valga of Coral.
Ha!
Greetings.
Yeah! By the gods, there's a psychopath on the loose.
Such violence!
Ha! By the gods, there's a psychopath on the loose.
Such violence!
Ha!